Welcome, everybody, back to the Glass Cannon Network. I am Brian Holland. I'll be your host and your GM today. And for those of you who are wondering what exactly I'm doing here, is Joe O'Brien let me do the intro this time, and I haven't screwed it up yet.
He's been promoted.
There is still time for me to mispronounce somebody's surname or just stare off into the distance and forget that I had a call in, but I haven't yet. So we are here to play Pendragon. I did have a cold open that I was going to do, but then Joe was like, don't forget the stuff to do because you did pay to be here. So I want to let everybody know before we get into it. Two things. One, if you haven't already seen our Session 0 prep episode that is already up and around, you can see everybody create their characters. You can get a bit of a look into the system. You can learn about each of the knights as they sort of come to life, and they're all now pretty established. If that's something that's interested you, go check that out. Second thing is, 1 week from today, Part 3, which is actually Part 2 of the story, will be airing live at Gen Con. When I say live at Gen Con, I mean it goes live during Gen Con. We're actually all going to be there, but we're not going to be doing this. It will be pre-recorded. So check that out. The third thing is, if you are all intrigued by Pendragon, there is a special coupon code you can use that the Glass Cannon folks have. It is Pen Cannon, P-E-N Cannon.
That's great, Pen Cannon.
And you can use it on Chaosium.com on either the core rulebook for Pendragon, the starter set for Pendragon, or the launch campaign for Pendragon, which is called the Grey Knight. And that actually, the Grey Knight is actually a campaign that extends the campaign in the starter set too. So if you get all three of those things, you've got plenty of Pendragon ready to go. And that's before you even start writing your own stuff.
And if I could recommend 1 year later, just getting that starter set, it's amazing. The Pendragon starter set is phenomenal. It's filled with so many amazing things, and the character sheets are the best I've ever seen in any starter set. They're they open up. Noura, you remember this? They open up from the inside, and they're loaded with information inside. Artwork for the character, your coat of arms, all kinds of details about your family and your glory, your desires, whatever. And the pre-gens that they start with are so interesting and different. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it's a very, very cool character sheet.
Oh, and, cool.
Stay with Nell. She's my favorite.
I want a starter set. All right, Pen Cannon. Cool. I literally wrote that down last session, and there it is.
Pen Cannon. That's awesome. Yes, I played. It was something I wasn't expecting. It made me think very much of Crusader Kings 3. The pre-gen knight that I got in that set was it was from
Constantinople.
Constantinople. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a Turkish knight that was visiting the Britons as a diplomat of the emperor or whatever. And I was like, this is amazing. Anyway, it was just really cool. I did not see that coming. Yeah. So highly recommend the starter set.
I based my character on Zap Brannigan because I think the pre-gen was very
that's
full
right.
of himself. And
that was very funny.
Very handsome. Perfect.
Yes. Debonair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we meet all of our characters, I assume if you've spent any time on the Glass Cannon Network that you already know who these wonderful people are. But let's just quickly introduce everybody, starting with Joe O'Brien. Who are you? What do you do here?
I am Joe O'Brien of the Glass Cannon Network. I'm very excited to sit back and play with our favorite publisher GM. I mean, you're really one of a kind there, Brian Holland. We're so lucky to have you doing this.
Also,
so thank you. I mean, nobody who knows this game better, that any of us know. So this is amazing. I really appreciate it.
I'm doing my best.
It's also award nominated, I think.
Oh, yeah, we have to talk about that.
Yes, that's right.
Actually, hey, just for some shameless self-promotion, if you are listening to this and you're a fan of what the Glass Cannon specifically do, and via osmosis I can absorb some of that fandom, you can go to the Ennies.com and you can vote for Alone Against the Static.
Do it.
For Best Adventure Long Form and Best Writing.
And Best Writing.
And the cool thing about that is, if anybody caught our Bachelor Party game from Gen Con last year.
That was the adventure.
That was, essentially, yeah. I ran it as a prelude, as a prologue to the other. It's the same thing, yeah. So go check that out, and if you like that, you can sort of play through the Bachelor Party scenario yourself, sort of at home. Anyway, so Going around next, Paula.
Sorry, just really wanted to talk about that. Hi, I'm Paula. You can hear me playing Yelka on Blood of the Wild, a subscription podcast here at Glass Cannon Network, a variety of other things, Gen Cons present and past and hopefully future. And I do other things on the internet, but that's not important now. Not weird things. Game things.
That's what we were all thinking too.
Gosh,
about all the weird things that you do on the internet.
I know, you all were. I saw the audience go, yeah, I'm excited to figure out how to become a knight.
Yeah, well, we'll talk on that in a moment.
It's a long road for you.
Skid Maher.
Hello, I'm Skid Maher. You can see me in a video playing Harold Faltermeyer, the composer of the Axel F theme from Beverly Hills Cop that was just posted a couple days ago, and stuff on the Glass Cannon Network as well.
Noura, Ibrahim.
Hey y'all, I'm Noura Ibrahim, and you may have seen me on such fabulous shows as Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill on Amazon and Freevee, along with all of these fine folks. LA by Night and New York by Night.
I wasn't on that either.
I meant
okay, well, the two most important fine folks here.
Black Die Society. Also, some very notable Call of Cthulhu shows like Graveyards of Arkham and Time for Chaos on the Glass Cannon Network.
TFC.
Excuse me. Sorry, I had a bug in my throat. I'm Brian Holland. I'm from Chaosium. I have been on the Glass Cannon a couple of times. And I just want to say a couple of things. So last year at Gen Con, I told a story about how the year before that at Gen Con, I had been nervous because a girl I started dating had told me she was going to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch the Glass Cannon stream. Mm-hmm. And then last year at Gen Con, I got to say, hey, that girl who was nervous, we now moved in together. And now I get to say that last weekend we got married. So I don't want to say that it's all because of the Glass Cannon Network. But I mean,
what were you?
It didn't hurt.
What will your announcement be next Gen Con?
Next Gen Con, yeah. And then now the tragedies might begin. And it's going to be,
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go back and see those funny things. You can, watch my weight go up and down, all that kind of fun stuff. And then we can.
That's because mine's just gone up. It's fine. We're here doing our best,
All right, and now we're here to play Pendragon. We're going to meet everybody in a second, but remember I mentioned the cold open.
Oh yeah,
so let's see if I don't fuck this up. Oh, it's cold. It's cold. Let's see. All right, ready? Everybody just vibe in. Remember what I told you. Your Pendragon may vary, and ours is a particular vibe. So, how loudly can I yell into this mic without ruining the whole show? Do you think? Let's not find
very
out.
loud.
Not very loud.
Hark! Gather now and hear the tale of a vengeful giant, stepped from the most wicked mists from out the deepest reaches of the earth. Hear now of those who would stand to oppose him with sword and with steel and with sorcery. Hear now of the knights who walked beneath an iron sky and faced the spawn of the devil. Hear now what became of them. This is Pendragon. On the Glass Cannon Network, under an iron sky. It is the late autumn, when all the nights are longer and the trees are all but bare in anticipation of the winter to come. While the darkness grows outside, the clouds are grey and heavy and threatening an impending downpour. But in Lord Robert's Hall, it is warm. A fire roars in a pit large enough for 3 men to lay abreast. Smoke coils and gathers in the rafters, and the long tables are adorned with roast vegetables and suckling pig, and the men and women of the Lord's court are deep into their meal, and some deeper into their cups. The Lord himself presides from his lordly table, his round face flushed from the heat and devoid of stubble. At his side sits his mother, a stern-faced woman with piercing eyes that watch over all who have gathered before her. The music is lively, and here behind the stone walls the icy air and dark of the night is kept at bay. And it is here that we find each of you. who is everybody playing tonight, and where do you think you are in this feast hall in Lord Robert's court?
There is a knight standing probably in a corner. He's that kid in the corner. With his trademark Roman nose and his willowy form, standing holding a goblet of Cornish wine. And this is standing and sort of taking it all in. I think he's wearing some, like a blue sort of padded doublet with gold thread like sewn through it. He's standing there being very modest and and really merciful and honestly a little forgiving.
You could just tell looking at him.
Energetically chaste.
So he is, and he is just loitering in the corner. What is his name? What shall we call him?
His name is Sir Caradoc Saxon Hater.
Oh, the hater of the Saxons.
He hates, man. No, nobody hates Saxons like Sir Caradoc.
That's what he's known for, clearly.
Yeah.
All right, so he's loitering nearby. And Noura, what about your character? Who are you, and where are you?
You see a very tall and very healthy, athletically built woman with flowing blonde locks, wearing a very polished breastplate, but you notice that her arms are bare and they are quite graceful. And as she kind of nervously wants to be invited, she's eyeballing the food in this scenario. She's like, when is it polite for me to just start eating?
Well, I can help you with that if you would like. Could you make a courtesy roll?
Okay. Ooh, right off the bat.
Right off the bat, first roll of the John.
In the middle of character introductions.
I know. Sorry. I just want to try and show people how to play the game.
So on the die, I roll a 19.
I am going to assume significantly higher than your courtesy skill. What is your courtesy skill?
Courtesy is a 14.
Okay. Oh, that's not too much higher, but it's
pretty
higher,
good courtesy.
So you fail.
Yeah.
So the point is, you can start eating right away. That's like, what do you care? Like, it's why would you have to wait for anybody? So, it's fine.
And I was like, this is great.
This is good. You can get into it. Yeah, you can involve yourself. Yeah, it's fine. Everybody else seems to be doing it, so that's totally cool.
Fall day.
And sorry,
how are you guys doing?
What is this illustrious woman's name?
Her name is Sophina the Fragrant because she just smells like wildflowers all the time. That's just how she is. She just sweats florals.
How the other half live. Joe O'Brien, who are you on this night?
Let's say that our camera pans over to a group of knights, perhaps, or a mixture of knights and squires. And there is, the center of the frame is the shortest of the knights. A short man, very skinny, very slim, standing at, I can't remember the exact height. I think it's like 4'11" or something.
4'11", I think, something like that. Yeah,
4'11". So extremely short man who is well put together. This mane of glossy black hair that is combed back and it hangs long down near his shoulders, and he's wearing a nice doublet with a black and white motif to it. There's very little splashes of color. It's all very black and white, as is the colors of his house. Would we say house, right? We'd say house.
Sure. Yeah.
The colors of his house, and he's standing there with a goblet in his hand that is clearly filled with some of the wine that's been served, and he's speaking rather loudly, boisterously, laughing, and these men and perhaps a couple women that are all standing around him are he's kind of holding court. He's chatting them up, and people are laughing and maybe sucking up to him a little bit.
Wow. Is there a particular social skill you'd like to try and show off here? Like perhaps do you have if you're holding court, maybe you have an orate, or I don't know if you're cracking out the loot and
orate,
trying to impress people. I don't know.
Orate would be great. Orate let's do orate. So I just
what is your orate skill?
My orate skill is 10.
Okay, so you're rolling a d20, and we're trying. Remember, in Pendragon, it's similar to Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest and the other BRP games, in that we are still trying to roll low, but we're rolling a d20. And if you roll the exact target number after modifiers, that is a crit. So, yeah. Anyway, don't roll a natural 20 because that's a fumble. So
okay, don't open with a natural 20. 9.
Yeah.
You'll never roll
That's
higher than in this game.
That's a success. Yeah. Everyone is clearly very taken with the, your story.
He's telling some story. Gesturing wildly, taking big sips of his wine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well done. So those are our 3 knights. Oh, and what's your name?
What was his name? Yeah.
Yeah, what was his name?
His name is Sir Queegan of Salisbury.
Queegan. How do you spell that?
Sir Queegan. Queegan. Sir Queegan. And I could show you his coat of arms. If you'd like to see it.
I'd love to see it.
Because I used the dope-ass coat of arms generator in the rulebook, which, by the way, was really fun. Like, way more fun than I expected. I thought it would be fun, but I didn't know how educational it would be. And it's so funny because it's like self-deprecating in a way. It's written in the book right at the top. It's like, first off, let us be clear. It is impossible to create a generator that would actually generate like the breadth and depth of coat of arms that would have existed, like in this time. So this is barely scraping the surface. Meanwhile, I read at least 13 words I'd never heard before in my life and was like going to the internet to research, and every single one I researched was like a term used in heraldry, like a term, this is all like searchable stuff for arms and armor. Anyway, I'll put it up here. This is something I never would have came up with, and it all just came as a result of die rolls. I'll show it to you guys on screen, and hopefully we can put it up on the video here too, but it's in the upper left of my character sheet. So yeah, that is it.
Oh,
nice.
Cool. Wow. That's cool.
Yours is so awesome.
It's kind of simplistic. Yeah, it's like a diamond shape. That's the charge. The charge was an object or an inanimate object, and it's called, I didn't know this word, it's called a rustre, R-U-S-T-R-E, which is like a diamond with a hole in it, and then it was set against a field, and I rolled a really high number here, and it got me to, what is it called? I rolled a natural 20, and it was a fur tincture that was like an animal. This is meant to be like an animal hide, kind of. Ermine.
Oh, I see.
Ermine.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Ermine, is that what it is? So yeah, so I rolled a natural 20 on like the color, and it gave me this. It's a pattern that is this ermine or whatever. And so, yeah, I built this with just like stuff I pulled off online and did a little Photoshop.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Cool. That's very cool.
I was like super psyched. I was like, this is awesome. I would have never thought of this. So thank you for the coat of arms generator.
That is the generator in the back of the Pendragon core rulebook that you can get for 15% off using the code PENCANNON.
Good job, Brian. It's so funny because Brian is like adamant. He's like, I just want to play the game. I don't feel like making it like an ad. I don't want it to be like that. I'm just like, if you want people to buy this, you gotta shove it down their throat.
I gotta chase that bag. Gotta chase that bag, everybody. But seriously though, just while we're on that, if you like seeing like our games on the Glass Cannon Network, specifically if you like seeing me run them, the best way to convince my bosses to let me keep doing this is by showing them how many people went and bought some stuff. So
so just buy one thing.
And that helps out your faves at the Glass Cannon as well, for sure. All right,
you know
so
what?
those
Honestly, even if you didn't play Pendragon, just to generate for your own game,
It's
if you were
cool.
making a
It's
night,
really
I mean,
cool,
there's
yeah.
so
I was
much
just looking,
variety.
yeah.
So what I showed you, it's they're not all just black and white with that ermine symbol. There's so many different animals and objects, and you can do quartering and halving for who you've married in your family and stuff. I mean, it's really, really cool.
Those are our 3 knights. But there's also a 4th person here who is not a knight. Paula, who are you and where are you?
Yeah, so the camera now, tracks down the room away from this jovial crowd being impressed by Sequegan, along the wall, because these rooms are where you're eating, but at night, after the meal, all of that would get cleared away, and this is where, the knights and everyone sleeps as well, right? So along the walls are, they're like trunks of belongings, if I'm correct here.
I believe
and
you.
so I think that I am, according to this book, because I've read a lot of this to prep. So I believe if the camera now lands kind of on a young woman in her kind of doublet or gambeson, kind of a gray color quilted, fabric with an azure blue trim on it, matching the color of her. I'll just show mine on my
wow,
phone.
cool.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
That I made using the random generator. So that's what.
So cool.
So pretty different actually from what Joe's turned out to be. And she has her hair. She has like a hood cap. I don't know, a skull cap kind of, like a
thing.
balaclava maybe, sort of like that's very tight around her hair, so you can't really see it. And then underneath that are long braids that are mostly wrapped in leather, but if you look closely, bits of her ginger hair kind of poke out between the bits of leather that are wrapped around her hair. She is sitting on a trunk, just maintaining some equipment, maybe cleaning a sword that was used by someone in practice that day, because this is Fiona of Salisbury, and she is still a squire. If she thinks no one's watching, she will be kind of cleaning this sword with her left hand and doing a very good job at it. But if she thinks anyone is noticing her, she will kind of switch to her non-dominant right hand. And
I will
and use
attempt
that.
to see if I can notice her using her left hand.
Not too far away. Make an awareness roll.
He's just looking out the side of his eye. Did I just see that squire clean with her left hand? What did you say? What role?
Awareness. What is your awareness?
Awareness.
It's actually not great. So yeah, you got this, Paula. So that is a fail. I rolled a 13. That is a fail.
You're
13
busy.
against what number?
Yeah.
13 against what number?
You're
Against
regaling.
5.
13 against 5. No, you're too busy impressing everybody with your great story, which is excellent. So look, it's a big feast. Everybody's, there's drink, there's food. Folks like Dame Safina have figured out that she can just start eating whenever she wants. That's all fine. But there's also mead going around, and alcohol. So there's a chance that some of you might indulge a little bit. So we're going to have our first trait roll of the game. Yes. And for those who are unfamiliar, who didn't watch the prep episode, traits are a big thing in Pendragon, probably the main mechanic that separates it from other games, and that these are the various pairs of personality traits. And we're the one we're looking at right now is temperate versus indulgent. So is anybody famously either one of those things? When I say famous, does anyone have a 16 or higher in either of those traits?
No.
I do not.
Okay.
Not
okay.
me.
Does anybody feel that their character is more likely to do one thing over the other? As in, like, you know, like I feel my character is a bit more temperate. Maybe the numbers aren't quite there necessarily, or they're kind of low.
That's how I feel. I feel like my character is a bit more indulgent, but I'm a 10 and a 10.
You're
like I'm right down the middle, but I feel, especially in this moment, the way you described this scene, I pictured him being a little bit indulgent.
Well, the 10 and the 10 is usually when it's going to be like, that's probably going to be a roll. So how about you roll again, because you as the player would like him to be indulgent?
Yes.
So roll against your indulgent. Now here what will happen is if you pass this roll, you will be indulgent. If you fail the roll, you will then roll against the opposite trait to see if you are temperate instead. So make an indulgent roll. So
going for indulgent, I failed with a 16 over 10.
All right. All right, so now roll against temperate, which is also 10.
Rolling against temperate, I rolled a 4 under 10.
Okay, so here's the thing. You are going to now tick your temperate box.
Ah, okay.
And now please walk us through, because you said you thought that Sequegan might be a bit more indulgent, but something has come over him tonight and he's decided to perhaps not imbibe like he normally would. So what do you think is his internal thought process?
I think as he's chatting these people up, he's really enjoying the attention and the the laughs that he might be getting or something like that. And as he's having some of this mead in the cup, as you say, he starts to feel that little warm tingle that maybe I've had a little bit too much, or maybe he senses the slightest sense of like a slur, in one of his words. And as he thinks of this, I think he realizes something. He realizes that a few of these people that are next to him, giving him a little laugh, are probably not interested in him at all and are just there because of his parents, who are pretty well off, and so and are like pretty well known, and it just reminds him of his duty to his family, and that he has like a responsibility here to like keep a really good profile. And so he reins himself in and is like, all right, I'm done. Like, I can't have another sip right now. I'm just gonna keep it chill and not get myself in a jam.
There you go. I get it too, because if I have even a drop of liquor, the slurs just spam out of me every second word. So I can't do the same thing. All right. Does anybody else feel that their character is maybe one or over the other, or would prefer to leave it to chance? Dame Safina?
Think that Safina she's a very virtuous person, but she's like looking at everybody. So her normal instinct would not be to partake, but she's looking around and being like, well, would it be impolite of me to not?
Interesting.
And so she's wondering like whether or not she should at least just have like a sip, just so she wouldn't seem rude.
Yeah. So if you are unsure, you can just leave it up to chance as well. What are your temperate
so she is more temperate. She is there's a 14 in temperate. More than but she also has she's high in courtesy, so she maybe doesn't want to make a bad impression. So this would be do I at least take a sip?
Sure. So let's roll and let's see if you fail your temperate roll first. Okay. Because maybe it's just 2 in her nature, despite the fact she's not sure if it's rude or not.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1, so you're just like, no, not tonight. Like, you are still, your virtues and your...
Not today, Satan. I am not partaking.
All right, so go ahead and please tick your temperate box as well. Sequegan, you're sort of loitering in the corner. Not Sequegan, pardon me. Caradoc, you said you were loitering in the corner. So you're not really socializing. I know they're being enigmatically chased or whatever it was. Are you drinking? Are you eating?
Yeah,
are you
I think he might be. I'm right at. I'm a 9 temperate, 11 indulgence, and so. But I think he's like. It's a little more likely, like not a drunk, but I think that he might be prone in a situation like this. Like he might be like the social awkwardness for him. Mm-hmm. He might have a few. Yeah. Maybe have a bit, 1 or 2 too many.
Okay. So here's the thing. So when you're at the close like that, if Skid as the player just feels that his character, for all those reasons he just said, is more likely to be drinking, because the numbers are so close in that sort of area, you can just say that I will choose to be indulgent. If you would like. Yeah.
I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose to like.
Okay. Yeah. And still same deal. Tick your indulgent box. because that might mean. And when I'm saying, for those who are unfamiliar with BRP games, the reason I'm saying tick the box next to your character sheet is because when we get to the downtime phase between sessions in this game, which is called the winter phase, that is when we will check if any of the skills or traits or passions that have had a tick next to them, we check to see if they increase. So it's basically how experience works. And lastly, Fiona's busy scrubbing swords and polishing helmets and things like that. So is partaking in anything even on her mind? I don't know.
I think she'd like to be.
Yeah.
I do think she's like, okay, as soon as I'm done with this, I get to eat too. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna grab a turkey leg or whatever. I'm gonna have a drink. That's what
my thing.
If she
right.
can.
So you've got a job to do.
Yeah.
But everybody else is eating and drinking. So how lazy versus energetic are you?
Ooh, I'm more lazy than energetic. I have a 12 lazy and an 8 energetic.
All right. Let's but do you think Fiona, she kind of does want to do her work?
She wants to be a knight, but she's kind of like, these are. I should have become a knight when they became knights, and now I'm somebody's squire.
You were held back in school.
Yeah. You do this with your non-dominant hand and see how well it turns out for you.
Exactly. All right. So here's what we'll do for Fiona, who doesn't have a title yet. Fiona, can you just roll against your energetic? Because you would like to do the job. So roll, and your energetic is, what did you say, 8?
8. Mm-hmm.
8, okay.
Oh, I rolled a 4.
Okay, so look,
nice.
you say, like, that is what I need to do. I'm going to buckle down and do it, even though I'd rather be eating a turkey leg. Yeah.
That is what is going to keep me on track to moving forward.
Exactly.
And becoming a knight. So
Perfect.
It's fine. I'm doing it.
All right, so please go ahead and tick your energetic. You're energetic, and we'll see if Fiona's personality doesn't change as the game goes on, both mechanically and whatnot. So the night goes on. Most of you are actually not drinking, so maybe it's kind of a drag. I don't know. But suddenly, there comes an abrupt stop to the merriment when the doors of the hall open. They swing open, kind of like Aragorn pushing those doors open in Helm's Deep. Everyone knows. Right. The true heads know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And a woman enters. She is astride a tall horse, and she's drawn the attention of everybody in the room. The music has stopped. She is bent over the horse. Her eyes are sort of half closed. Her mouth is agape, and she's panting. And her black clothing is slick with mud and with rain from outside. The horse comes to a stop just a few steps into the hall. And Lord Robert's mother, she stands and she demands, "What is the meaning of this?" What would you like to do?
Does she respond?
This woman is sort of, she does not respond. I will ask her anyway. There's a couple of things we can do here. Anyone who would like to make a fashion roll, if you've got a particularly high fashion, you may do that.
Good fashion.
Otherwise, if you would like to make a recognize roll, both of these things will do slightly different things. Okay, so let's start with Dame Safina then. Make your fashion. What's your fashion skill?
My fashion is an 11, and I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Dame Safina, what you notice is, so this woman's clothing, despite that it is slick with mud and rain, it's very dirty, it is very well made, and it is clearly the clothing of a highborn or noble woman. This is not just a peasant who's walked in here. Or ridden in here, I should say.
And you said she was like hunched
She's
over?
like slumped over, anyone who would like to make a first aid or awareness roll to try and sort of suss what's going on. She looks like she's maybe half asleep or is dazed.
I kind of want to see if she's hurt or in trouble or...
Sure. So before we move on to that roll, was anyone looking to make a recognize roll? Because I gave two options there, was fashion or recognize.
I was thinking about doing a recognize.
I should say, if anyone would like to make a first aid or awareness roll, may do the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
Fiona, you said...
Can I do a first aid?
Yeah, sure. And Fiona, you were trying a recognize roll?
A recognize, and I rolled a 4 under 5. I got kind of lucky.
Oh, that's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sir Caradoc?
I got a 12 over 6.
Oh, okay, so you failed. And Sir Quegan, was there a roll you would like to make?
Yes, I got a 5 under a 10 for first aid.
Ooh,
For first aid,
nice.
okay. So, Fiona, you do recognize this woman.
Mm-hmm.
You are fairly certain that this is Lady Gwenhilt of Montecoute, which is a small town far to the west.
I will, as soon as I recognize her, I will go right over to Dame Sophina. It's Dame, right? That we say?
Yeah.
Or Dame Sophina, who is my knight, so that I can whisper in her ear, yes, I recognize her. It's Lady Gwenhilt.
I saw that she must have been, do you see her clothes? They're so nice.
They're beautiful.
Do you suppose something's wrong? Something must be wrong.
Something looks wrong.
Sir Quegan, you passed your first aid roll.
Yes.
So she is clearly ridden for so long that she is on the point of exhaustion. And you can see from it, like, the way her legs are twitching, like she has got, like, she is getting cramps in her legs from having ridden so long. So she is, like, to the point of probably nearly passing out.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to add to that a fashion roll.
Sure.
But I failed. I rolled an 8 over a 6, so I don't recognize her as like noble.
What she is she is clearly a woman on a horse who is very,
Needs help.
she's ragged and needs help. So there's a couple of things here. There is one is your knight's honor, and the other is your knight's station. So those of you who recognize this woman as a noble woman will could acknowledge via your station passion that a noble woman must be helped. If she was a common woman, not necessarily. Like, you could just, sometimes, look, we've all got problems. But if she's a common woman, your honor may dictate that, well, let me help this person who is clearly in need. That is a chivalrous trait of a knight.
I'll move to help her. Can I just move up to her?
So what would you like to do?
Is that rude after
that is,
the...
Well, it is certainly not. However, because you don't know she's noble, you don't know that, if there's any commoners nearby, they couldn't be looking at her directly. They would have to sort of be keeping her eye down. But you are not a commoner. You are also a noble person. All knights come from wealthy families, and you are one of them. So you come up to her. On her side, and she's just breathing, and she's panting, and her eyes are fluttering. She's clearly so
she's clearly
exhausted.
been riding for days.
Exactly.
And he makes his way up to the horse and is like, she's on the horse and is like about to fall off.
She's clearly about to fall off the horse. Yeah.
Someone help me here. Let's get her off this horse. What are you doing? You're standing there just looking at her. And he walks up to the horse and like reaches a hand up, but he's so short.
Do you need a boost?
Yeah, exactly. Have we met, do you think, Noura, what's Dame Sophia? Have we met?
Sophina. Sir Quegan, I would assume if we were both knights.
If we're both knights of Robert Salisbury, would we all know each other?
Well, correct. You are all have sworn fealty to Robert, so you would at least have a passing acknowledgement of one another.
Okay.
Some of you, I think we did talk about there might be some backstory elements that connect some of you in deeper ways, which might come up. But at least by name. If not, you don't necessarily know each other well.
Sir Quegan, allow me to give you uppies.
No, I'm fine. Please, you use your
These are
the height you are blessed
graceful
with.
arms.
Let me take a look at her and see if she needs any help. And he'll wait for you to kind of pull her off the horse. Bring her down here so I can look at her.
And is there a
You
roll I have
do.
to make, or can I just
there's
help
no
her?
role necessary for that. You help her
Okay.
off here. She's very, very ragged, half asleep. And as she falls into your arms, Dame Sophina, she breathes deep of your floral scent, and it's almost like smelling salts. She's like, oh, thank you so much, thank you. And then as soon as her feet touch the ground, though, she winces, and she will collapse to the floor unless you hold her hold her up, or gently, lower her to the floor.
Let her sit. Let her sit.
Yeah.
That's probably best. She's exhausted.
And I'll kind of just call over for some like mead, and because they don't know about water and
No. Well, you've got someone specifically to ask for those kind of things too.
Yeah, I was thinking I think Fiona would have anticipated already and has grabbed just a cup of mead on the table, and as soon as Sophina kind of goes to move, she knows, and it comes right over. Some mead.
Oh, thank you, Fiona.
Lord Robert's mother snaps her fingers and she calls out to the nearby Sir Caradoc. Sir Caradoc! Here! At once! Here!
And I move purposefully over, although I may stumble a little bit.
And just as a reminder to those who know, so the awkward thing about this is that Lord Robert is like 13 years old.
Oh, yes.
So you all technically have sworn to him, but his mother's sort of this borderline power behind the throne kind of thing. So you do owe her respect, but you don't work for her. Just kind of, keep that in the back of your mind, whatever you'd like, She leans in as you approach, Sir Caradoc, and she, in a hoarse whisper, says to you, "Find out who that is and get her out of our hall. This is completely inappropriate. We are trying to make merry."
But, milady, honor demands that she be taken care of. She is hurt. She is exhausted.
Well, I don't care what you have to do. Don't do it in my son's hall.
Yes, milady.
And he comes up, and he is. I guess he doesn't. He doesn't know that she's a noble or anything. Like, he's not sure, but he would be honor bound. Like, he has an honor of 16. He would be honor bound to care for her if she's not. And so he comes up, and he says, "The lady of the house demands that you." And he's like not sure what to do. And he's just like, and he leans down and says like, "Are you badly hurt?"
She's taken the mug of beer or whatever it is you've gotten for her, and she's chugged like half of it. Anybody who knows anything about human physiology is that if you're really dehydrated and exhausted, then just mainlining alcohol is a great way to feel.
It's so good. Yeah, it's gonna help a lot.
Exactly. She chugs it down. She drops. When Sir Caradoc approaches and asks the question, she basically drops the mug, and it's spilling down her face, and she looks up, and she would be a pretty woman were she not so clearly unhealthy and so exhausted and bedraggled. I know. And she looks up and she grasps at your legs, and she stares up at you. And she has red in her eyes, and between panting breaths, she says, "I came here to beg for Lord Robert's assistance. Please, I must have help. Please."
With what? What do you need help with?
Well, she turns to so quick, and she sees, and she smiles up at you. "Oh, another night. Oh, please, my Lord Knight, please, sir. Oh, my husband, Lord Filbert, he's been murdered, and our lands pillaged."
What's it? Filbert?
Filbert, Filbert, Lord Filbert of Montacute. So without necessarily a recognized role being necessary, you all have heard of Lord Filbert. He is a lord similar in levels of power to Lord Robert, but he does preside over Montacute, which is far to the west. And upon hearing Lord Filbert's name, Sir Caradoc, and hearing her say that he was my husband, you now know that she is a noble woman. You may not necessarily know her name, but yeah.
You are the wife of Sir Filbert. How is this possible? What of his guard? Where are his knights?
They have all been felled, my lord. A giant crawled out from the pits of hell and took my husband's life and his honor. I beg of you, please help.
All been felled. And he looks at Sir Caradoc, like, wide-eyed.
Giant.
Quick pause. Giants?
There's
Is this
giants
something
in
that
the
we
sky.
are all knowledge, like that we all know are out there, kind of?
Here we go. So anyone can make a folklore
Or is this
roll.
like, this woman's mad?
Folklore. Exactly. Well, it could be that. It could be
Like
that.
her husband, Filbert. She's a nut.
So there's a few things we can...
Send her to the gallows.
So I'll have everybody make a folklore roll first, and then depending on your character's religion, you've all at least heard of a giant.
Okay.
Your religion might dictate what you think of your giant, depending on your folklore roll, and it's up to you whether or not your character subscribes to these ideas or not.
All right, so I rolled a 2
On folklore.
on folklore.
Okay.
My religion is 5, folklore's an 11.
Okay. Sure.
So
So you're
Yeah, I've heard of these things, but fake news.
I will tell you what you've heard I will tell you what you've heard in a moment, because the folklore you would have heard will be specific. Whether or not you believe that folklore is another thing. Did anyone else pass their folklore roll?
I failed mine.
I failed mine. 7 over 5.
So Dame Safina, folklore that you know the conversations, the stories that you know that giants are magical beings. Who will actually not stop growing as long as they have food. They will grow forever. If they are not killed. So it's unclear if the giant that Lady Gwynhilt is describing is one of the it's the size of a tower, or if it's still a younger giant who hasn't grown. But if he is pillaging all the lands and he's eating all the sheep, he could. And if he does get gigantic, this could be a huge problem for all of Britain, because giants will not stop growing. Now, as a Christian woman, if giants are real, they must be demons. So that's sort of if they are real, the only explanation would be for them is that they are demons. And given Lady Gwenhild said that the giant has crawled up from the pits of hell, she may feel similarly. So
this woman is dehydrated. That's the only possible explanation. She could not. There's no giants.
She says, I swear it.
Bring her water. She's giving her meat. What are you thinking? Gerbert!
He calls to his squire.
Are you
yes,
in
sir.
here?
Yes, sir.
Bring this woman water immediately and get this horse out of here.
Okay, yes, sir. I'll take the horse.
Smells
Yes, all right
awful.
then. Okay, and he
Take it
takes
down to the
horse.
stables.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's a good idea, sir. Well done. Post
Make sure it's seen after. It's the horse of Lady Gwynhilt. Make sure it's well taken care of.
Of course. And he turns and he leads the horse out the front doors, which he leaves open behind him.
Sir Quicken,
cold.
surely a woman of her status would never ever lie. What? So of course, if what she's saying is true, then there is no doubt that whatever has come up from the fiery pits of hell must be brought back down into it and preserve this land of ours.
Well, I don't think she could possibly be lying, of course. However, she could be delusional. She's been riding for days. You can tell she's dehydrated and perhaps she's seeing things. However, there does stand to reason that there's no cause for a woman of her station to be riding alone for days, unless something truly tragic happened at court. The knights must have been felled by something.
So Fiona, as the only pagan woman present, what you know of giants is the giants once they have walked the lands of Britain long before the Romans came and killed the old gods. And the old gods still remember the secrets of the giants. So, your religion dictates that giants are real. But we just don't see them much anymore because the Romans, another way to play Pendragon is that this is a post-apocalyptic setting because, the Romans came and had technology and now it's just around here. So, just so
ruins
Fiona
everywhere.
knows, that's...
How much, in terms of like the social order, the social pecking order, how appropriate is it or isn't it for Fiona to express her own thoughts and opinions in this situation? Is it only appropriate for her to potentially express those things to Sophina if she feels like they're comfortable enough with each other? Or like if she makes a suggestion or disagrees with, Sir Quigan right now, is that a bad thing?
Make a courtesy roll.
I love it. I was like, this sounds like a roll. Like, if you know this or not. It's awesome.
5 under 9.
Okay, so you pass. So you know that because you know the knights have a higher station than you, but you are actually all from wealthy families, despite the fact that you smell. So you can definitely speak your mind to these other knights if you do so respectfully.
Right.
With the noblewoman, however, any questions should be directed through the knights to her.
Right, got it.
If that makes sense,
Yes.
Because the knights are present, it would be kind of a faux pas for you to sort of interrupt and go straight to it.
Station-wise, we are below her, right? So she's
below the noblewoman.
yeah.
Well, similar. Yes. So she's a lady married to a lord, and you're a knight. So you haven't sworn fealty to her, but that's the station. Yeah.
So Quegan, in my experience, giants might very well be real. That might be what we're dealing with, but I think what seems most appropriate, if everyone agrees, is that we should see what Lord Robert thinks. And he will decide what aid we render.
Giants are real. Have you seen one, Fiona?
I've been taught that they are here, but almost no one sees one anymore.
Well, perhaps you're right. Of course, we could counsel with Lord Robert's mother, see what she has to say.
Well,
And of course, we all seem to be giants to you, do we not?
Fiona stifles a laugh.
always with
Very
the
funny.
sharp tongue.
That's very
If only
funny.
you kept it sharp as your sword. Wait.
That was good.
Let's go to...
Well, just before we pivot to talking to Lord Robert, I just want to remind Sir Caradoc. So Caradoc, wasn't there an old family friend that you have in your backstory? Was that you, or was it somebody else's character?
I do. I talk about the Merlin.
Yeah.
connection.
So didn't Merlin?
Yeah.
Wasn't he? What was the connection again? Did he know one of your parents?
Yeah, I think my parents like did various quests for Merlin the Druid.
Yeah. So, and all this conversation about giants does dredge up a memory of one of your parents talking about a time working with the Druid Merlin. And you remember that the Druid Merlin once told your father that the Enchantress Nimue once helped a group of travelers defeat a giant. That's the end. You just talk of giants just reminds you of that time, because you don't talk. It's not you don't hang around and talk about giants often. So this sort of dredges up this memory of Merlin talking about the Enchantress Nimue, who is a pagan woman. So that's up to you. But anyway, I just wanted to remind you of that before you go and speak to Lord Robert, if that changes anything.
Okay, yeah. So he's thinking like part of him was like not sure. Like he would share these stories with his peers. And a lot of them, like, they probably seemed pretty fanciful, and like people didn't believe them. And so he's not sure, like, whether it's to his. This is my father. He said that he encountered a giant once while he was charged by Merlin the Archdruid. Perhaps he was speaking the truth all along. In any case, yes, we should bring this to Lord Robert.
His mother is still standing there.
Yeah,
waiting for so.
And we need to speak to his mother.
I'm
She
fine.
yells out, "What is going on? My knights, my son's knights are standing there talking amongst themselves for God knows how long. There's a frigid woman on the floor of my court. There's a horse. What is going on? I demand it now, Sir Caradoc."
Milady, I cannot speak to the frigidity of this woman, but we would speak with Lord Robert.
That's right. And he's sitting there. He's like got like turkey in his mouth, and he looks up. And he stands, and his mother sort of pulls his chair out from behind him. So, okay.
So
What's happened?
I come up and kneel before him. Says, "My lord, Lady, what's her name? Lady
Gwynhild.
Gwynhild. Lady Gwynhild has said that a giant has defeated her husband's knights and ravages their lands. We ask your counsel."
A giant?
Kid.
Like in the stories? And he looks
dear.
at his mother and she looks at him. Oh gosh. What a marvelous quest that will be. But no, you will need powerful magic to slay a giant, surely.
Or
Well, my
God.
lord. Yes.
Oh yes, of course, the blessings of our Lord Father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or God. Lord Robert, let's not forget.
Not forget the greatest magician of them all, they say.
Turn
God.
water into wine.
The greatest magician of them all.
Do not fear for me, Lord Robert, for I am possessed of this. And he pulls out his amber knob, this heirloom. Maybe this was like acquired by his parents, like with through Merlin. So it's like this shall keep us all safe if we are to face the giant. By your word.
Strange. Amazing. Well, I mean, and he looks at his mother. I mean, so is the giant coming here?
Well, my lord, if we do not vanquish this giant, then he bears a great threat to your land and your kingdom.
Oh, okay. So should he looks to Dame Gwynhild? Not Dame Gwynhild, Lady Gwynhild, who's still sitting on the floor drinking water and mead. She's double
And
parked.
Sir Quegan is still over there with her,
Yeah.
like talking to her about her possible injuries or anything like that. He's trained in this area.
She is, and any chance she gets, she is telling you of the magical nature of this giant and how he felled every one of her knights, and he hauled sheep up by their necks and took them away for feasting, and she's just. Delirious, but very specific. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh gosh.
Am
Yes.
I think that you need some rest. I think we shall. I'm going to see to getting you a room as soon as possible. Just rest and just have a drink of water. And then he's going to turn back and start walking up to everybody else.
Lord Robert calls out to his priest, Father Tibwe. So, Lord, what does the Bible say about giants? It doesn't, my lord, actually say anything about giants. Oh. Do we suppose then... well, that's strange, isn't it? Because they can't be giants if the Bible doesn't mention them.
Well, if I may interject, Father, did not King David slay the giant Goliath in battle?
Oh, yes, he did. I suppose I hadn't considered that. I'd have to reference the scriptures. I think all you will need is a hearty sling. Yes.
Well, certainly.
Engage from a distance, you know?
I think if you will recall the scriptures, Father, that the emphasis in that passage was on the unlikelihood of this method of warfare working against the giant.
Oh, yes, but God saw the ring true.
Also, in either case, Sir Caradoc is right, my lord, in that whether it is a mystical creature or simply a very, very large person, it remains that the Lady Gwynhild has come through some terrible event and has made her way here with all haste and with no protection. The only possible explanation is that her knights have been felled by what we do not know. So perhaps we must investigate.
That's a good idea. And then his mother interjects. I cannot risk three of my best knights on this ridiculous quest to slay a giant. I can't. And then Lord Robert interjects. You're right, Mother. We can't risk it at all. One amber knob isn't enough to save them all. I think they should go, like in the story that Father told me. You should all go to the Isle of Avalon and seek a magical weapon, and then there'll be no risk. And the Isle of Avalon's on the way to the lady's home. Isn't that correct? And she nods from the floor.
My lord, it would be folly to doubt the power of my knob. But you are correct.
Inappropriate.
And I come and
Inappropriate.
Milady, a word, if you will, and I'd like to pull his mother aside for a second. If private.
How very dare you?
Yeah.
Very dare you.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a thing going on and we didn't know about it.
Ooh. Sir Caradoc and the lady the widow.
No, I'm far
Golden
too
knob,
cheap.
indeed.
So you're about to, but the Lord puts his fist down. He smacks the table. It's like, no secrets. This is an exciting adventure, and I want it told about my hall. So if you have something to say, Sir Caradoc, please address your lord. That's me. I'm your lord.
My apologies, my lord. Of course, I only mean to say that the lady is delirious. She is exhausted. Perhaps her senses have been dulled by her travels and her torment, as there is every chance that the perpetrator here is, in fact, the Saxon menace itself.
Oh, no.
No, well, here's the way I think of it. If you go there and you've gone to the Isle of Avalon and you have a magical weapon to fight a giant, and you get there and they're Saxons, okay, that's fine. But if you go there without getting a magical weapon from the Isle of Avalon, and you go there and it's a giant, you're all going to die. So, which do you think is the best thing to do? It seems pretty cut and dry to me, Sir Caradoc. I thought you were supposed to be smart if you're a knight.
I thought the same. And he looks at Caradoc.
Yeah. Got that.
Of course, my intellect is a pale shadow compared to yours, my lord.
My Lord Robert, you are most wise. This is an incredible line of rationale. Of course, it would be best if we had a magic weapon. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yes, I agree. A very good idea.
I request to be sent on this quest. If it please, my lord.
Of course, Sir Quegan and Dame Safina.
My lord.
Yes,
It would be
if you
a-
could.
Yes?
If you could also go.
I
That would be
was to say it would be an honor and a privilege to die in the service of my lord and his great hall.
And the father nods and says,
It'd be very good to have a strong Christian woman on such a quest, for if you do encounter demons, you may excise them from this land.
Exactly. I've been brushing up on my scriptures, and I think that is a capital idea.
Yes. And perhaps the experience will sway your young squire to the light of our Lord. Our Lord God.
I have been working on it. I think I've been making great progress in the whole.
We've got to get our conversion rate up.
I foresee no negative long-term effects. So,
Quick question. Is this priest bombed?
is he bombed?
He sounds a little
Is
drunk.
he drunk?
Yeah.
Oh, is he? I mean, yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I said, then you're playing him perfectly.
Yeah,
I suspected so.
He wasn't. He's just got problems.
Well, then we shall leave at once to the Isle of Avalon per our Lord's command.
Exactly. And
Wait,
that
what?
is a good. That's a good time to pause.
You're so pumped.
And just a quick break, and we'll be back on the
Yes.
Glass Cannon with more Pendragon and more highfalutin nonsense. And more grim, dark, gritty, medieval violence. Very, very soon. Welcome back to the Glass Cannon playing Pendragon under an iron sky. I'm Brian. This is everybody here. Hopefully, if you missed the intros, you can just go back and watch it again. And hey, while you're here, just a reminder that if you're having fun watching this, you can pick up the Pendragon starter set, which has got a solo scenario you can play by yourself in it to learn the game and the setting. And you can just play along at home. And you can pick that up using the code PENCANNON. 15% off. And while you're there, if you want some other Pendragon books, you'll also get 15% off them. Doing so helps out the show, shows my bosses that what we're doing here is really fun, worthwhile, and we can do more of it. So that'll be great. Before we dive in, something very important from last week, and I just want to check, does anybody at all want a update on Brian gets into the NFL by choice?
Oh,
yes.
man.
Yes. I mean,
you've been texting with me all week.
I'm very upset I haven't got a single text about this.
I did see a request for a fantasy league, and I was like, already?
I was like, well, because I don't know, because there's not many people in Australia who follow it, right? And we have our own.
We should do like a special fantasy league for Brian. We should do a league.
That would be
Brian.
cool. That would give me something to do, and I don't know what to do. But okay, so I made some choices. First of all, I did watch a game. I watched a game with NFL noobs up on Reddit so I could learn the rules. And
nice.
I did a little thread. It reminds me very much of a tabletop war game in terms of like the strategies and the pushing into territory. And I found it very easy to consume.
Zone of control.
I watched the Michigan-Washington College final. That was the one I could access for free.
Oh, okay.
It was fun and entertaining. I watched the NFL draft. I had that up in the background while I did some laundry, and I sort of just by osmosis tried to absorb some stuff. And I think I'm going to support the New Orleans Saints because that's my favorite city in the world, and I've been there
Okay.
I love that's a great choice.
When it comes to fandom of this nature, it's really Skid and I have talked about this, and Skid cited a writer years ago who wrote something about this. It's kind of impossible to choose to be a fan of a team. It has to come from something that is innate and genuine. And I'm not saying that you can't be I'm saying the New Orleans Saints is a great idea if you're like, this is my favorite city. There's like a reason and a rationale that is not the team that draws you there. And once you start and kind of like go down, like it might take some time, but then you'll start feeling that real fandom. You know, it's a great way to pick.
Yeah, I've been watching highlights from because the stuff I can get for free. I'll buy the league pass when I get back from Gen Con and stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. And yeah, Skid's been great. So shout out to anybody out there in the internet world. If you've got any questions about anything at all, really, just message Skid. He'll get back to you.
I'm more than happy.
Let's put up. Hey CJ, can we put up his phone number on the lower third?
Let's get that up there now.
It's all his personal
information. What's your personal email? Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, be careful with that company though that does the subscriptions for the international version of the
I've
NFL.
read about it. Yeah,
it's a German company, and they can be really tricky. So just be cautious.
Well, I saw some negative reviews.
Germans, but
then I saw the negative reviews were also like, it's really hard for me to watch 4 games simultaneously. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's going to be a problem for me. Anyway,
it's the only way to do it, though. Really. So yeah, whatever.
Let's just hard pivot straight into this. So the sky hangs grey from one side of the world to another.
Sorry, before we leave.
Oh, it's too late. You've already no. You can do something. What are you going to do? I was just saying. It's the next day. The sky is grey.
Oh, okay.
What would you like to do? Sorry. Yeah. Yes. No. You're right. What do you want to do?
I would like to. I'm fascinated by the medieval concept of courtly love. Not Courtney Love.
Okay.
Courtney Love. Yeah.
And Courtney Love. Yeah. The medieval concept of Courtney Love.
And although I do love Celebrity Skin, that's a great song. But I want to have like a courtly love relationship with Robert's mother.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Do you want this to be unrequited?
It would be unrequited. And so I would love, Sir Caradoc would love to pen her a poem dedicating his quest to her before he leaves.
Well, here's the thing. So, for those of you who watched the Session 0 episode, you'll know that in Pendragon we have a mechanic called passions, and there are some passions that you begin with, because all of the Arthurian legends, no matter which ones you read, they're all very emotional, passionate tales. So the knights start with, passion, which could be fealty to their lord or love for their family, that kind of thing. Obviously, honor and station are other default passions. More passions will come up during play. So, for instance, if Joe, in the course of this scenario, has his eye pecked out by ravens, he might get the passion hatred of ravens. Something like that. The other thing is just exactly what Skid is doing, saying, "Hey, I would really like Sir Caradoc to be in this, to be in love with Robert's mother." So you can just request this passion, and your passion will start at 12, I believe. So you can write that on your character sheet. I actually don't have a sheet in front of me. But in this section, you'll see there's drop-down menus that allow for love, and then you can write in there Robert's mother, who I have not named yet, but that's fine.
Okay.
And you want to pen her a poem. So would you then like to make a compose roll? And we'll just make a note of this if this comes up later, whether you succeed. Because, the compose roll success or failure won't determine whether or not you do the task. It'll just depend whether or not it's bad.
The quality. Okay.
The quality of it.
You're doing it. It's just, well, good is it?
Yeah.
I put a point or two into compose, if memory serves. At
did you?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want to like, run it by your buddy before you slip it under a door? Do you want to be like, "Hey man, you want to read this over for me?" Or is this a private thing?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I text
totally.
back this?
Yeah. Actually, I want to run it by the Sir Quegan and Dame Safina.
Knight's opinions are important. Yeah.
Yes, Sir Quegan, I've always respected your opinion in matters of art, and Dame Safina, you are a woman. And a woman's opinion is invaluable in such matters. How would a woman see this? And I hand
Fiona's
it over. I rolled a 2 under a 5. I ignore Fiona completely.
Yeah, leaned against the wall, being like...
Like she's still talking. You're just like...
So you succeed.
Please, I'm trying to speak to the other knights.
All right, so you passed your compose roll. So this is a pretty good poem that expresses the love, maybe subtle eroticism that that is expressed plainly through beautiful tailored words. So give us a few lines of the poem, Skid. What does it say?
Okay. Milady, on the back of my charging steed I go to a quest whose goals I cannot know. To death and glory may I... To death I ride, but glory return. My lady, for you my heart does burn.
Yes.
Wow, beautiful.
Wow.
Well done. Off the dome.
Yes.
Off the dome.
Holy shit.
Bottle cap. Do we get bottle caps in this?
Yeah. Fiona starts crying, but Sir Caradoc doesn't notice. He's just...
Is there a mechanic? Is there a mechanic?
Really beautiful. Like,
Is there a mechanic
to me, I would sleep with them. Like, I would.
I would sleep with him right now.
I would right now. Can I have unrequited love with Sir Caradoc after hearing?
Yes, you can do that. You can do that. Love 12, Sir Caradoc. He's amazing.
Sir Caradoc just blushes. Like, it starts really sweet at first, and she's like, "Oh," and then it gets like kind of hot and heavy for too much for her, and she's like, "Dude, okay, it's." Her face just like completely beat red. She's like, "It's lovely."
Okay, I should also point out
too.
Yeah, I should also point out as well. I completely missed a thing. You definitely have not written this down. You are speaking it because you're illiterate. Remember, everyone has.
No, I do have I put 2 points into literacy.
Oh, so you can write. Okay. The people you gave the poem to, can they read?
I cannot.
I cannot. I have zero literacy, but
you had to read it out
sounds
loud.
Great.
Yeah. We'll assume you read it out loud. Okay, so you do have literacy, so you could write it down. So that's okay. And how did you want to deliver it to her? You don't have access to just go straight to her private rooms. You could give it to a lady in waiting and pass it along. You could do it in front of everybody. That might be inappropriate. But what would you like to do?
I'm going to hand it to her lady in waiting, and I'm going to sign my name. and everything's misspelled, like the whole thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, although there really wasn't such a thing as misspelling, I think, in like really like
You
old
read
English.
I
Canterbury?
can figure it out.
Canterbury.
Yeah.
So I handed over to a lady in waiting, and it's just like, please tell my lady that I hope this finds her. I hope this finds her well. And I bow. And
You
So
bow to
taken
her
by-
lady in waiting.
I'm so flustered.
All right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's great. Emotions are already running high in this game of Pendragon. And the next morning, because it was a bit late, you didn't want to leave in the middle of the night, especially after being drinking and eating and everything. So you get your horses ready and you've hit the road. And as I said before Skid interrupted with that excellent intermezzo, is that the sky is hanging grey from one side of the world to another, and the muted sunlight through the clouds paints everything at the landscape in this sort of rich earthen tone of browns and greens. The road is wet and slick, and whatever god or gods watch over you have been merciful, in that the wind is little and not as biting as it has been in recent days. It would appear the oncoming winter has relented, just slightly, for your noble departure. How's everybody feeling as you begin your trek westward?
I have to wonder if one giant killed all of Lord Filbert's knights. Do we really think 3 knights and their 3 squires can go up against it? Should we
Oh, but Fiona.
brought more people with us?
Oh, but Fiona, you're forgetting. They didn't have the magic sword of Avalon.
I don't think you believe that there's a magic sword of Avalon. From the tone that you just said.
Perhaps I don't, but our Lord commands that we try to find it, and so I will do my utmost to do so. And if we do, then I will admit my faulty beliefs.
And besides, magic sword or not, we have God on our side. And as she starts on this prayer, dear Heavenly Father, please protect us in our quest. And also, if it's an ambush baptism, does it still count? Because you know who is.
It does not
just would like
count.
some guidance on
An ambush baptism does not count.
I'm having a private prayer.
Don't say it out loud then, Sophina.
I don't know how else to do it.
I can't write it.
Let's write it down. How will God hear me if I don't say it out loud?
All right, I will respect your private moment. I apologize,
Ambush
milady.
baptism. Throw her in the lake.
Please don't.
like crossing a river or something, and just
I'll get the
Tackle her off
influenza
her
and
horse.
die.
God, this is amazing.
Enough to baptize her, not enough to give her tuberculosis.
Thank you.
it's that sweet spot, like right in the
Exactly
middle.
right. Holy but not unhealthy. Yeah. Just to see how we're all going, can everyone please make a horsemanship roll just to see
Ooh.
there's no disasters, because it is wet and slick and it's a
Horsemanship.
long road.
Come on. Do we have luck or anything in this game we can spin
No,
to...
you just gotta. Well, the thing is, you can do before you make a roll. You can choose to become inspired by one of your passions. By, say, for instance, if Sir Caradoc decides to orate the poem directly to Robert's mother in a later scene, he might want to become inspired by his love of her, which would give him a potential bonus to his orate skill for that scene. So, for instance, if you're, if you're worried about potentially falling off your horse because it's so wet and it's been a while, and you're with 3 knights and you're looking to impress them, you might say, I'm going to draw on my station passion, or my honor passion to boost my horsemanship, because it's really important that, you know, I don't fall off this horse and look like I'm beneath their station. For
I
example,
want them
now,
to help me become a knight, right?
Exactly, yeah. Now, I will say, though, failing a passion roll can lead to melancholy and even madness if your character begins to doubt what they thought they knew about themselves and their reality.
But of course, but it's also unlikely. A lot
It
of
is
your
unlikely,
passions
yeah,
are
yeah.
very high numbers.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah.
But also, can you only call on a passion once per session?
Yes, I believe so.
Or once per scene?
Usually, because usually that's what we do, because if you can just be like, I'm going to become inspired by my highest passion, which is usually honor every single time. So yeah, it's generally once per game session to call on a passion. Okay. Because it'd be easy for you to say why my honor is giving me a bonus to pretty much anything if you're a knight and you're really leading into the chivalrous aspect of things. So, don't be too cheeky with it. That's why having more passions is good. That's also why the passions are limited into their, total of 40 in each category. So you can't just have a passion for every occasion, I suppose. So, cool. So, yes, horsemanship rolls. If anyone would like to make a passion roll to help them with their horsemanship, what is your horsemanship, Fiona? Why are you asking this?
Well, because my horsemanship is 10, but I rolled an 11.
Oh,
so that's why I've already rolled, and that's why I was like, if I only had 1 point of luck to spend, I could make this really good.
No, you just got to wear that. Did everyone else make their horsemanship rolls?
I made a roll already. It was a 17 before you talked about the passion
That's
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We'll know for later. We'll know for later.
Sir Quegan and Sir Caradoc.
Yeah.
Sir Quegan got a 3 under 10.
Oh, very impressive.
Just another fucking Wednesday for this guy. Yeah.
And I guess you could call me TJ Horsemanzada because I rolled a 2 under 10.
Oh, well done. Okay. Wow. All right, so Dame Fiona.
I'm trying to help Ryan get into the football.
I can see that. He'll get that one day.
Maybe
one day he'll understand that reference.
There's like 3 guys listening right now who are just slapping their knee because it's the funniest thing.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. It's about 3
Bengals
people.
fans.
Very 3 Bengals fans.
I didn't get my notebook out today. I forgot, so I just realized that all your characters' names are written on the back of Luke Gygax's business card. So that's
that's amazing.
So those of you who Dame Safina and Fiona, you don't fall off your horse or anything, but a few hours into the ride, you're really sort of starting to feel it. Like you can tell, because it's been slippery, the horse is slipping every now and then. It's not tipping over, but it's really sort of makes for an unpleasant ride, and you're a little it's a little tough. You're definitely lagging behind Sir Caradoc and Sir Quegan, and after some hours of travel, you come upon a road that passes through a dense forest. What few leaves remain on the tall and branching canopy drip with a steady dew and water collected from the overnight downpour, filling the forest with a kind of false rain pattering all around you. Turning a corner, it is Sir Caradoc and Sir Quegan at the front of your little caravan, which first notice a bushy-haired boy of probably no more than 16 years who leaps to attention from where he had been perched on a mossy rock. He is dressed in drab brown rags and he smiles. Well, bless my bones on this day. The Lord God smiles upon me. Please, me lord and ladies, can't you spare a moment?
Who are you?
I am but a humble servant to the Lord, and I am cold, and my family is famished. Might you please, O lordly wealthy knight, spare but a bit of your vast wealth to help me and mine, please. Oh, ladies! And as Fiona and Dame Safina catch up, he sees you and he repeats himself again. Oh, please, won't you please?
And just real quick. Sir Quegan just takes one look at him after he sees he's panhandling, and he just goes, "No," and keeps going faster. Dude, I literally turned and looked at my traits because I was like, let's see where this lies, and I completely forgot that by far my highest trait is selfish at 15. My generous is at 5.
Okay, so you're just. I
was like, is there a trait to cover this? And I'm like, oh, generous.
Now,
5.
Here's the thing. So Joe, if you would like, you can make a roll against your generous to see if this might be a time when you change. But if you'd like to just lean into the fact that you're selfish, that's totally okay as well.
I know what I said.
Okay, go ahead and check your selfish box then, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, so I'm assuming, but given you are so high in your selfishness, you were pretty quick to do this. So everybody else can respond how they would like to Sir Quegan's response here.
It's just such a funny image. What an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like poor begging child. It's like, no.
Fiona would definitely reach into her pouch and pull out like a coin or something. She is more generous than selfish, for sure.
So you're choosing to be generous?
I would choose because I have a 13 in generous.
Yeah, sure.
So I
go
think
ahead.
she just would be.
Check you're generous. And he looks at Sir Quegan. Please, sir, if you just spare a moment, you could hear. I forgot my accent. Please, sir, if you just spare a moment, you could hear my tale of woe and the pain me family's gone through. Please, sir, if you just wait, I will tell you my long story. Please, just don't go.
I will give you a coin to not tell us the story. She kind of like hands him. I mean, do whatever you want, obviously, but like she hands him like a coin. With like there's like some lint in her pocket, and out of her other one, she like had been hoarding some food in her pockets for Fiona to give her. She wanted to give her last night, but amongst all of the chaos,
just give her like a handful of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, there's little bits of meat and like whatever. She's like,
oh, thank you.
Go with God, child.
Okay, you take that.
Thank you, please, but no, I've really got more to tell you. I really do. Now, Sir Caradoc, everyone else has sort of beaten you to the punch in terms of giving stuff or promptly ignoring this guy. I'll give you a choice. You can either make a trusting / suspicious roll, or you can make an awareness roll.
I'm more trusting than suspicious. I was just thinking, like, I'm very suspicious of this, but I don't know that's Caradoc is. So I guess I'll do a suspicious roll. I have a 9.
Okay, so roll against your suspicious.
No, 17 over 9.
Okay, now roll against trusting, because you failed that. Yeah.
4 under 11.
Okay, so tick your trusting box. This dude is sincere. He has a tale of woe that you would probably want to hear.
And I think like Caradoc is like he's in a good mood because like he's sort of been like riding on air, just thinking about his poem to the lady. And so it's just like, no, please, this poor peasant has suffered. Should we not be godly and listen to his tale of woe?
Well, if we do so, I'm getting off my horse because my backside is killing me. just with that bad.
Come down off your horse,
earlier.
Lady. Please gather round my mossy rock, which has been my bed for 3 nights now. Please, you must hear my tale of woe. Me da, yes. He died, he did. Me ma, she died as well. And I have a son. Wouldn't you know it? The good Lord returned him to his embrace as well. I had me a donkey, I did. Would anyone like to guess what happened to me donkey?
Let me guess, he died.
That's right, he wandered off. I haven't seen him for 3 days. I haven't seen him. He's somewhere in the forest, he has. This forest. Oh, God. Sir Quegan, can you make an awareness roll, please?
Yeah, exactly. Can I say something first? Can I say something snarky first?
Yeah, you can.
So mad at this guy. Yeah. As he launches into it, he's like, why don't you just pick our pockets and be on with it? I don't need to hear a long oration from a thief. Just take the money and run.
Wow.
All right, so awareness roll. I don't have a great awareness.
It's all right. We'll find out.
We'll find out, won't we? Oh, 19 over 5.
Okay. You're really focused on so flustered and angry.
Yeah, he just
guy.
thinks that this is like a classic panhandling job, and these 3 are just too good-hearted to like see through this nonsense.
Not for any particular reason, but is Safina the only one who's got off her horse so far? I think so.
I did not. I turned like. Can I also ask you another question? Is my squire here? Is Sir Caradoc's squire here? Like, do we have NPCs in here theory, with us?
Yeah. But they sort of hang out nearby. They're not like full-blown characters. Okay. You can sort of use them to do. They will be like things like the caddy. You know, they will.
Yeah, I just wanted. I thought that they'd be there.
They're
or
sort
at least
of near,
mine
but
would.
yeah.
I think. Sorry.
No, Fiona.
I was just going to say, I think that if Safina has gotten off her horse, Fiona would have also to be ready to help in some way. Does she want anything removed? You know, she would have also gotten down.
I just needed a good stretch.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. My bum also. It's just been a miserable ride so far.
It's the saddle.
Yes, it must be. I will check. Maybe there's something I did. I didn't put it on right.
Safina, do you not have 4 horse blankets on your character sheet? Because I do. Because this is Pendragon.
This is a maybe good time to let everybody know, just let everyone behind the curtain. Because if you're a GM, a forever GM like me, you know when a person is, every now and then, you spend some time making characters, you send a follow-up email to everybody, be like, hey, don't forget to do this.
He's finishing touches.
A player like Noura shows up expecting to be entertained, and she hasn't done the work. Okay?
Yes. Noura the unprepared.
So she hasn't written down the
Noura
4 blankets that she has.
Noura of the latent email readings.
She hasn't noted down the 7 horses that she has. All right,
I have some names. I know my favorite horse's name.
Okay, well let's keep moving because I've got a battle card from the Pendragon starter set, which lists a bunch of stuff. Because who knew Sir Quegan was correct and this trusting fool Sir Caradoc was a moron? Because as he says, basically, like, why don't you just pick our pockets and be done with it? He calls out, and 3 other Irishmen launch from nearby shrubbery. I know. And attack.
The only thing worse than a left-handed pagan is an Irishman.
And we now have a Pendragon combat. Now, Pendragon combat does not work. There is no initiative, and it doesn't work like Cthulhu where you go in dex order either. It's very simple. You just the first thing you do is everybody goes around and says what they want to do in this first round, and because of the nature of the game, we are making opposed rolls. There are somehow we've just managed to get exactly one enemy for every player, so that's really convenient, almost for a sort of a demonstration type situation. However, so one of them is going to be attacking each of you, and there's a fun little aspect of this card where I get to roll to find out which particular weapon these Irish kerns have. So what I'm going to do is one at a time. I'm going to get each of you to roll, and I will tell you what your enemy has. So, Joe, Sir Quegan, could you roll a d6 for me, please? And this is what the bandit attacking you is equipped with.
A 4.
He is equipped with a spear.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's not
bad.
good for you.
If you're on a horse.
I thought I was going to have advantage on my horseback.
Dame Safina. Could you roll a d6, please?
Okay. 4.
Also a spear. They all have spears.
No, don't like
Fiona.
A 1.
A 1. An inferior sword.
Thank goodness, because I'm just a squire.
And Sir Quegan, can you roll a d6 too?
You mean
Sir Caradoc?
Sir Caradoc. I gotta keep doing that.
2.
2. A battle axe.
Oh.
He has a battle axe. So those of you who are just the flat thing is if you are mounted and you're fighting someone who is not mounted, or if you have a height advantage in some way, it will impose a flat +5, -5 modifier, unless you're being attacked with a long weapon, like a spear.
Damn.
So
right.
those of you. All right, so going around one at a time, and hey, tell you what, we'll do Noura last. I'm only saying that because basically all the knights have the same equipment, so Noura, you have the same weapons that everyone else has, so we can do that. So Sir Quegan, what would you like to do? There is a Irishman coming at you with a spear.
Filthy Irishman. He is going to draw his sword. And by the way, we didn't talk about this. You said we were going to do it on air, but I had already done it.
Oh, you rolled your d20 on the lucky badge table.
I did.
I know.
I
Do you have a cool
did.
sword?
And I happened to get a magnificent sword.
Oh, wow.
A family heirloom, a magnificent sword. So, yeah, he's got this gorgeous sword that he pulls out from the scabbard and raises to the sky. And he's like, Irishman, let me introduce you to Malice, his family's blade. And
so
he
angry.
will put his boots into the flanks of his horse, Smitty, and go at this spear-wielding Irishman and try to cut him down.
Oh wow! Okay, that's crazy. All right, Fiona. And by the way,
Yes.
we will do everybody's roll after the scene because I don't want to interject the scene with the roll to see what cool family heirloom you get. But hey, Joe did it already, and he gets to use it, so it goes to show that not following the rules is actually pretty cool sometimes.
Sorry.
So, yeah, it's I'm fine. I'm making fun. Fiona, what would you like to do? There is an Irishman wielding a pretty shitty looking sword coming right at you.
I have a spear and a dagger. So I think, oh gosh, in this moment, I think I'd like to take out the spear so I have a bit more room. I don't have to get right up to him with my dagger. And so I'll pull out my spear and I'll try and use it to knock the sword out of his grip.
Okay, sure. So you're going to try and
I'm going to try and use my weapon to disarm him.
disarm. So that is one of the combat actions. We'll get to that in one moment.
Alright.
Sir Caradoc, there's a guy with a battle axe coming right at you.
I'm sure he's going to pull his sword, and he's going to charge at this guy. That's just like, die, filthy Celtic dog!
And Dame Safina, there is somebody with a spear coming for you as well.
Right. I see that I have a lance as a starting gear.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's got a spear coming.
You do have to be on a horse to use
I have to be on a horse. Okay,
yeah.
so then I will try to, because if he has a spear, I'm just going to try to maybe dodge and try to attack with a sword.
Yeah, sure. So so you just want to do a sword attack because dodging is a specific thing you can do, which you just
So we
just make
can
a sword attack.
Or we
to
could
be clear,
parry,
you can just say
right?
you can attack. You can well, that'll come up. So if you just say I just want to fight him with my sword, we then roll, and then that can result in a parry or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
But a dodge is specific. I'm just trying to get out of the way. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's start with.
This is what our combat looks like in the woods.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
All right,
Is he attacking that man with a lute?
So,
I think so.
Quegan, you're attacking with malice.
With
What
malice.
is your sword skill?
My sword skill is 12.
12. Would you, before you roll, would you like to become impassioned somehow? Maybe your hatred
Yes,
of
I'm going to
the common
invoke the
man?
passion of my family because it is my family's sword.
Oh, sure.
And he's going to strike down these thieves in the name of the
All right,
honor of his family.
Let's see if you become inspired. So let's roll against your passion for the scene. So you're rolling against your passion.
Oh my god, I hit it exactly.
Did you crit?
18 on 18.
Oh, you crit! That's for the first
Amazing.
passion roll of the game. Wow. So you actually
Wow.
become not inspired. I think it's inspired. There's another level. I don't have the word for it right now.
I saw
but
the
it's
natural
next-
18 and was like, shit.
Yeah.
But that's
what that
amazing.
means is rather than getting +5 to your skill, you get +10
Oh, man.
for the rest of the scene. So your sword skill now goes to
Wow.
22.
Okay.
Which obviously you can't roll higher than a 22 on a d20. What that does mean is that you crit on 18, 19, or 20.
Oh my god.
Should I roll
Yeah.
again?
No, now we are going to roll off. So it's an opposed roll.
Okay.
His spear skill, which I've got written down here on this cool battle card that was done for me, against
Okay.
your sword skill 22. Now, he can still win. If you roll like a 2 and he
I
rolls
know.
a 5, so... and because he's using a spear, there is no... Now, the thing is, if he wasn't using a spear, you would get a further +5 because you're on a horse, so you'd be 27, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's not, so he's using a spear. All right, let's
Here
roll
we go.
off.
Malice!
He rolled a 19, which is a failure.
Oh, failure. Good. I rolled a 12.
You rolled a 12, which is not a crit. So there's a cool table here in this book, which tells me what's going on.
I
so
see
the
it.
character got a success, and the opponent failed. So the opponent will suffer damage minus their armor protection. So what is the total damage dice that you roll for your sword?
I roll
malice?
4d6, and because of my family weapon, I get a +1.
+1. Yeah.
Well, so you're rolling 5d6, and we're going to subtract this guy's armor
Wow.
points of 4.
I'm sorry.
So-
That's what it is. It's not 4d6 plus 1 point. It's 5d6.
5d6, yeah. Oh,
Wow.
and is it plus? Oh, wait,
Oh,
it
plus
depends
one
what it
die.
says. Is it plus? Oh, sorry, I may have misheard. Most of the weapons add d6, but if it says plus 1 damage, does it just say plus 1 damage?
I think it says plus 1
It just-
damage, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Then it probably is.
if it said plus
pardon
1
me.
die, I would not make that
Okay.
mistake. But it did
Sure,
not
sure,
say
sure,
die.
sure. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So 4d6.
46
Go
plus
ahead.
1. All right, here we go. Here's a roll. Not a good roll. That is 12. 12 points of damage.
So 12 minus 4. I'm just
That could kill
Are
him.
you sure you're rolling 4?
I know. It is a very bad roll.
4d6? Are you sure you're rolling the right number?
I rolled. Yeah, he's just stalling because he doesn't know the armor of.
No. I know the armor of the guy. I'm just pretty sure that you're supposed to roll like the sword damage plus your base damage for your character. Is that not correct? Your weapon damage is strength plus size divided by 6 on your character sheet.
Yeah, that's
Right.
4d6.
Yeah, and then what does the sword add? Like the sword itself will have
The sword adds.
adds
Yeah,
usually
because
like
then
a
look
base
in your
sword.
attacks. Because like my spear would then do plus 2d6 in addition
right,
to
the
the
damage is-
4d6 that I'm.
Yes, so that would be 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Because
So,
the
but I mean,
base damage is just your character's raw strength. And then the sword will add additional darts
Wow.
usually.
it's
and
just
your
my
character's
character's
Freaking
raw
deadly.
strength. So some weapons do more damage than others with that
Correct,
off of that
correct.
base.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then let's take that 12 and we'll raise it by another 5. So that'd be 15.
Okay.
I'm sorry, raised by that'd be 17.
17. Okay, 17. So this guy's knockdown is 11. So you've definitely got that knockdown. So he's knocked to the ground.
Okay.
Oh,
He's only got
cool.
an armor of 4. So and how much did you say? So he takes 11 points
17.
of damage. 17? 17.
Yeah.
Oh, 17.
Yeah.
so
It
he
was
takes-
12, and then I rolled another 5.
Okay, so
on
he
top.
takes 13 points of damage, which is not equal to his con or anything. So it is quite a lot, though. That is a very big wound you've given him, and he's fallen to the ground. Okay, Fiona, you said you were trying to disarm.
Trying to disarm this shitty sword out of this guy's hand with my spear.
I'm just getting to the all the combat actions are listed in here. You don't want to pull. You want to disarm. So you're going to make a weapon skill versus their regular action. So you're still going to roll your spear against this guy's. He's fighting you with a shitty sword, isn't he? Okay. So what is your spear skill? It'll be on your skills on the right hand side of your character sheet, underneath all the other skills.
Aha! Oh, it's a.
Yes. What is it?
It's
Four?
two-handed, but it's not hafted. It would just be spear. Okay,
Sure.
it's 5.
5. Okay. Do you
Yeah,
want to use a passion to maybe make that bigger?
Probably, yeah. Could it be my?
It could be your honor, maybe, because you.
Yeah, because I want to do a good job. I want to prove that I
don't want
can
this
be a
Irish
knight.
pickpocket to knock you over.
Yeah, no, that would be not knightly. So yeah, I'll do my honor, which is 16.
Okay, so roll against your honor.
That's a 1.
That's great. Okay,
So that's
you
definitely
you're
a.
inspired, and you get
success.
plus 5 to your spear attacks for this scene.
Okay.
So your
So that
spear is
means
now 10.
10. Okay.
Okay, and this guy's rolling.
Come on.
He rolled a 15 against 8, so he fails. What did you
I rolled
get?
a
Nice.
9.
Roll a 9. Okay, so
Under
roll your
10.
damage. So that was. Oh wait, no, you're not rolling it. You're disarming, aren't you?
I'm disarming.
So the opponent drops his weapon
I do no
within
damage.
Nice.
reach. Yeah. So he's dropped his sword. He's like, oh, please, bloody hell! Oh God, she's a demon with a spear.
Haha! That's
Sir
right.
Sequegan. No, not Sequegan. Sir Caradoc. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'll never stop. This guy's coming at you with a battle axe.
Okay.
He's a monster of a man. He's
What's
got,
your
like,
weapon, Skid?
Arms as big as your
just a-
thighs.
Just an arming sword.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So this is what I don't. I'm sorry. I don't think I get any bonus damage.
I don't think so
Are you
either.
sure?
Yeah.
Under arming sword, it says damage character. I remember reading this. It just says
Oh, it does
character.
just say character.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
character
okay.
damage.
Yeah, there's some that do add bonus dice.
okay.
So I actually only did 8 points of damage technically to that guy, but
that's fine.
He can still be
That's
down.
all right.
It's fine by me.
Did you include your modifier from your family sword there?
I did.
You did. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But some of the weapons do say plus.
They do.
Damage or whatever. Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
I
Battle
do.
Axe has brawling plus. Yeah, or I'm sorry. Battle Axe. I'm sorry. Club has brawling plus 2d6. Great Axe is character plus 2d6.
Sure.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
That would
that,
be
yeah.
The sword is chiller to use. Okay. You are attacking with your sword. You were doing. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I would like to use my fervor for Robert's mom.
Okay. Sure. So you're gonna roll against your love of his mother.
And I got an 11 under 12, so...
Okay, that's great. You are inspired by the love of your lady, so that is plus 5 to your sword skill. What does that make your sword skill now?
Now it's 18.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, let's see. So this guy's rolling his battle axe. Now, the thing is, this guy can always, if I roll the exact number, I'm going to crit, and that'll be bad for you. So
Right.
let's hope that doesn't happen. So, but you can also do the same thing. All right, let's roll. Let's roll. I rolled a 10.
a 9.
Failed. Okay, you win.
Nice.
You win. Roll your damage.
Uh, 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. Golly gosh, he definitely gets knocked down. He also is given a major wound. Holy golly gosh.
Wow.
Which
Nice,
means
Sir
that
Caradoc.
your sword basically cleaves through most of the meat of his arm, his swinging arm, as he tries to swing through, and arterial spray spatters over your chest and face as you sever the tendons of his arm, and his arm just goes limp because his muscles are no longer talking to his brain, and he falls to the ground screaming, trying to clutch his clutch the wound in his arm. So he's pretty much out. Dame Safina, there's someone coming at you with a spear, I believe. Yes.
Right. So with my, I want to try to just like parry or knock it out of, or break it, just with the sheer strength of my sword versus,
So
I'm
you'd
guessing
like
it's
to
a wooden
try
spear.
and disarm it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
are you trying to disarm?
Yes.
Yes, sure. Okay, so that's just going to roll your weapon skill. So you still roll, what is that, your weapon skill, which would be sword. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So
this
okay,
guy-
and then
yeah.
can I use my my passion for the homage to my lord to just explain to me again how passion works in this sort of role?
So what you do is you will make a roll against your passion.
Okay.
Depending on your degree of success, that will give you a bonus to one skill. For the rest of the scene. However, if you fail it or fumble it, it can give you a negative consequence.
So I have to roll under 18.
Under 18, yeah. So it's unlikely for you to fail.
And I rolled a 3.
Okay, 3. So you are inspired, so you get +5 to, I'm guessing, your sword skill.
Yes.
Will be the one that makes sense here.
Okay. And so to roll that for the sword skill, it's not the damage, it's the not weapon damage.
It's the skill, so it's on the right hand side of your character sheet, further down, underneath your other skills, where it's got like horsemanship,
sword skill.
battle,
Okay.
sword. And
There
what's your sword skill total now?
It's a 10 plus. What do I get for the bonus for
5?
5. Okay, so it's
15.
under 15.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if one of these guys.
And I rolled a
17.
3.
Okay.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
these guys just picked the wrong fight.
They
you go ahead and
So roll my weapon damage.
yes, please.
That's 16.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. All right. So this guy. Oh wait, no. Yeah, you were trying to disarm him, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you shouldn't have rolled your damage, but you. That's all right. That was my bad. I got so distracted with the huge roll. You don't need to roll the damage because you succeeded. You were trying to disarm. You knocked the spear out of his hands as well. Yeah. So you and Fiona have both disarmed your guys. The battle axe dude is he'll be dead in a few minutes from bleeding out. And then there's the guy who's been knocked over by Sir Quegan, who is in a lot of pain. And he looks up at you. Please, this is the guy who attacked you, Sir Quegan, was the original guy from the Mossy Rock who called you over. Please, sir, please, let us go. Have mercy, sir, please. Please. What would
he's
everyone
going
like to do?
jump down off of his horse.
Okay.
And he walks over to him with purpose, and he has his malice out. Walks right up and points it up under his throat. And he's just going to kill him.
Okay.
Whoa.
Far out. Okay.
So I'm looking at my
cruel?
traits here. I'm
Yeah.
11 cruel versus 9 merciful.
Okay. So he's going to go
I
for it.
am, but this is tricky. I am 12 forgiving versus 8 vengeful. So
Okay.
there is a little back and forth there. So let's just say I want to do it, and maybe we'll roll against it, because I think there's reason to say that he could be forgiving. His traits say he's more forgiving, but in this moment, I'm just feeling he acts rashly. But I don't know.
Sure. No, if you those traits, if you just want to say you do it, that is totally cool. If you want to leave it up to the dice and say roll against your forgiving first, you can do that as well. But again,
I'll do that. I want to roll the dice. I like rolling.
So do you want
I
to roll
like this mechanic.
Now, do you want to roll against forgiving, or do you want to roll against vengeful? Which one do you want to succeed at? I suppose.
I think, let's roll against vengeful. I want.
That's what you want to do, right? Yeah.
I want in the story. I want him to do something that makes everybody else like, dude, you should not have done that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just kind of
that's
feel
what
that
it's done.
gut feeling right now.
All right, so roll against your vengeful then. So you're looking for a 9 or under.
Got a 5 under.
So please check your vengeful
So he just
and just
Irish dog.
full. Please also tick your cruel.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay. The other guys who have just been disarmed, you know that scene in Inglourious Bastards where Eli Roth has beaten that guy to death with that Nazi to death with a baseball bat,
Yeah.
and one of the dudes leans over to the other guys in prison. I'd be shitting myself if I were you guys. Like, they are just like, oh gee, and they get on their knees. Say, please, no, please, and it's spicy. What would you like to do, everybody? How's everyone reacting? Because you all would have heard that guy was like, hey, please don't.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, Sir Caradoc is extremely forgiving. And he is just like, Sir Quegan, no! And yeah, he's like frozen with sort of shock. I mean, I'm frozen.
I would say Sophina would be quite taken aback by this. It's just a child.
Meanwhile, the battle axe
Wait,
guy's like,
this wasn't a child, right?
He was 16.
sorry.
He said he had a kid.
He was lying.
4 years old. It's clearly described as 4 years old. So Quegan.
Fiona will lean forward to the person who she's just disarmed and kind of point her spear at him and say, I think you should probably never do this kind of thing again and run now.
Okay.
Where is your mother? Oh, that's right, dead. Sorry.
He turns and runs away. Can you? I will let you please tick your merciful, Fiona. Depending on what your merciful is.
Yeah.
Dame Sophina, you also have a disarmed Irishman in front of you.
No, she very much is like, go back to your mother. Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Too soon.
Also,
you don't have one. Oops.
he also runs into the woods. You can also then, I'll let you choose if you want to tick either your merciful or forgive. Probably, so they say you're forgiving because the little barbed jab you gave him with the words is not particularly merciful.
Yeah.
So you're forgiving. And so there's still the guy who's bleeding out slowly because his arm has been attacked. He's been stabbed by Sir Caradoc. He is on the ground, screaming.
Sir Caradoc sort of gathers himself, like wipes off his sword, sheathes it, and he comes up to the guy and he says, like,
Let that wound forever be a memory of your folly here today.
Please help me, sir. Please, I'm going to die. Please, you have to lend me some bandage. Please, sir. I don't know. I'm feeling bloody pale. I am. Please.
Can I do a quick first aid roll just to see if he either has to lose this arm or he's going to die anyway?
Look at it. Yeah. You could look at it. Yeah, make a first aid roll.
See if he could actually recover from this wound. That's a 16 over 10. So he
failed. Like he looks like he's just gonna die. Well, I'll let you decide if he thinks it looks bad or if it looks fine.
So then I'll just come up next to you, Caradoc, and I'll just be like,
Sir Caradoc, do the merciful thing. Put him out of his misery.
Please, sir,
He'll lose the arm. He's going to die anyway.
Please, sir. I know. I'll be better. I just need some bed rest. Just some bandages or something, please. I'm sorry. I forgive you for my sins, oh Lord. Oh Lord, please. Thank you.
That is the right step.
And he looks at the dead, the murdered captive, and he says, like, go with the others, back to your backwards isle. Never trouble these shores again.
He stands up. He says, please, if you please help me. Anybody help me. No. Otherwise I will go.
Can I?
Okay. He's very pale.
Can I try to do a first aid? It's very.
You can if you would like. I just don't know if anyone will intervene.
I'd like to do a first aid as well, and I fail.
Yeah. I
This is folly.
don't know.
The boy is going to die.
I fail as well.
Okay. Yeah. No. There's nothing you can do. You get him to move his hand away, and you just see as soon as he does, it just like a crimson waterfall pouring out of his. And he turns and he begins to walk into the woods. He begins to run into the woods. He stops slowly, and then he falls only about 10 yards away on the ground. You see his leg twitching.
I don't know, Caradoc. It seemed rather cruel to me, as he's wiping, like...
Did it? What
You
the
speak of
Caradoc
cruelty.
did?
You speak of cruelty after what you've done. Look at him. Look
To what I've done. I moved along, as we all should have. You stopped and gave them that opportunity. They were clearly thieves.
But someone has to die? Just because they're a thief, they can't change?
No, they have to die because they attacked us and tried to kill us. If I turned my back on that one, he'd have thrown a dagger in my back the first chance he got.
That's very negative. I don't think that would have always been the case.
Yes, well, remember, they are peasants and we are knights, and perhaps you are knights. Perhaps you should all be held to a higher standard than we hold them. And Fiona will go to Sophie and say, "Can I get you anything? Do you need help getting back on your horse?"
Yes, that would be lovely, because I'm still a little sore. So she'll try to, she wants to get back on her horse Watley.
I hold them to a very simple standard, Fiona. And he puts his foot into his stirrup and gets up onto his horse. He says, just don't try to kill me or my friends. I think that's a pretty easy standard to stick to.
Assume nobody's going to loot the bodies. You don't need money from these paupers unless anyone wants to.
Actually, I did want to ask, like, what are we supposed to do with this fucking body? Like, you know, I mean, as a Christian, we can't just leave him lying in the street.
You
Whatever.
can. I mean,
it was a tragic death.
It's like
really should bury this body.
But then squires, come bury this.
Well, then how would his friends or family or anybody who might still be left alive know that he's not just missing, that this is what happened to him?
Well, we shall leave a
Well, did
marker.
you hear his tale of woe? All of his family is dead. He has no one.
He was making that up.
Yes, clearly.
he does have two buddies who you let go who also might come back for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed, you know.
I think we should move along. But obviously, whatever you all think is what
All right, he'll yell toward the woods. Bury your friend, you heathens! And start to move along, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, this is how a plague starts. And then gets back on Watley. Oof.
It gets later into the day. The sun is well and truly, nearly set completely. And you see the Isle of Avalon, or as it's known in the traditional tongue, Innis Widrin, from a distance. A large sloping hill rising from a thick and misty marsh for miles in all directions.
Cool.
And at the apex of this hill is a great tor, a tower, which is said by the pagans to be the door to Otherworld. and the home of the enchantress, Nimue. And that's all we have for Pendragon, Under an Iron Sky, here on the Glass Cannon Network for today. So if you want to see
this is so fun.
Crushed it.
you want to see what happens next, so you can tune in. I believe it's is it the Friday of Gen Con?
The Friday of
next
Gen
week.
Con, first thing in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, as Gen Con opens on Friday. We're going to finish this story. Amazing.
Yeah,
It's going to be great.
Boy.
Yes. Again, if you want to play
not
along
finish
at home,
the story, continue the story.
Continue
I
the
should say.
story. Continue the story. If you want to play along at home, get your own copy of Pendragon, show your support for the show and the folks on this channel that you love, you can go over to chaosium.com using the code PENCANNON. It will give you 15% off the Pendragon core rulebook, the Pendragon starter set, or Pendragon the Grey Knight. Oh, let me just get a copy of Grey Knight to show everybody. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that we were like maybe playing part of the intro to the Grey Knight here, but I guess not.
I thought.
Hey,
I thought I
Brian,
had this nearby. It's here.
Brian, are we what we're playing has nothing to do
so
with
cool.
the Grey Knight, right? It's like
Correct.
a
This is separate. So this
Separate.
what we're playing is it's loosely based on a scenario that was run for me by the enigmatic and prolific writer Mark Morrison, who is a very well-known Call of Cthulhu writer. But Pendragon is his favorite game, and he ran a sort of intro game for me a long time ago. But when we was talking about the different ways in your Pendragon may vary, because there's all the different types of the Arthurian legends and their vibe. Mark very much ran this same story, but it was far more whimsical and far more sort of sword in the stone type Pendragon, which is definitely a way to play Pendragon. But I thought for our game, let's get a bit more gritty.
Hell yeah.
With the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeesh.
did everyone have a fun time? It was all good.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
This is so great.
That was
I
awesome.
really
I love
I've
everyone's
wanted.
character.
Yeah.
I remember this game. I've wanted to play this game since I was a kid. Like I seeing it on the shelves, like back at the Wizard's Chest in Denver, and I just never got into it. Never had anyone else wanted to play. It is such a treat to finally get to play this game. This is amazing.
Yay.
It's awesome. And I definitely feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel, Noura, you mentioned this, that you're like, I never play characters like this. And I feel the same way.
So
I'm kind of
fun.
like, oh my gosh, like you roll these stats and and then you start seeing this person come into mind, and it's just like not what you normally play, but it's really fun to say like, would I do this and roll a die on all these, the way the traits work? It's just so much fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
cool.
Well, that's what's cool about it, because again, people say like, people try to knock against it. It's like, oh, I have to play a knight. I can't play like a wizard or like, a blacksmith or something. Like, no, you play a knight. The game's about being a knight. And again, the game is about what kind of knight will you become? Because all the three of our characters are knights, right? But they all approach that situation very differently. And then you've got like someone like Sir Queegan who's like, I'm just going to kill this dude. And it doesn't necessarily make him less honorable, because the way he views honor and the chivalrous things, is maybe slightly different. But, then again, you could also say that Sir Caradoc not giving that guy the mercy kill and leaving him to bleed out was also not chivalrous. But, it's all,
it's so like it's like it's the Grey Knight, right? Like it's so shades of gray, which is really
50.
cool when it comes to chivalry and knighthood.
Yeah, 50 of them specifically.
One last thing I'll quickly say, if anyone's interested about picking up the Grey Knight, written by Larry DiTilio, who also wrote Masks of Nyarlathotep. And for those of you who don't know, Larry DiTilio was actually a screenwriter who spent a lot of time writing on He-Man and
he wrote
5.
he wrote with Jen Michael Straczynski. He wrote
exactly.
for
And it was the writers' strike, I believe, in the 1980s. There was a writers' strike in Hollywood, like we had last year. And in that time, he couldn't work. He's like, well, I need to do something. So he just spaffed out what would become known as one of the greatest RPG campaigns of all time. He just wrote Master of Nyarlathotep, and then just didn't write anything else and went back to writing He-Man. So, Larry DiTilio, this is good. He's obviously not with us anymore, but this has just been updated for the new edition of the game, new art, all that kind of stuff. Very, very, very cool stuff. So, next week on The Glass Cannon, you can find the conclusion to this particular story here on the Glass Cannon Network. Anything else that you folks want to plug before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. We'll have more to talk about next week as we launch off on a huge marathon of games all day on Friday. This is going to kick us off, so I'm really excited about that. So
I can't
we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cool. See everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.